In South Jersey, New Jersey, and really anywhere east of the Rockies, it has been the winter months that have seen the most amount of warming due to climate change. Between 1990 to 2020 at Atlantic City International Airport, the average temperature has been 1.6 degrees warmer than when it was between 1944 and 1974, in the first 30 years of the airport's existence. And that has meant changes, both good and not so good, from the shore to the pinelands, like right here in Estell Manor. In the Pine Barrens, the greatest concern from climate change is the increase in the southern pine beetle. Bernie Isaacson, a forester for the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, says that this insect is, quote, the most economically damaging forest pest species in the country. The southern pine beetle usually goes away when the Pine Barrens has a night below zero, ideally -10. At Hamilton, a night below zero could be expected a little more than once a season when records started in 1893. Since 1995, however, there has been a less than 50% chance of that happening each winter. On the other hand, perhaps the warmer winters have had an overall positive impact on the most famous aspect of the Pine Barrens, blueberry farming. According to Gary Pavlis of the Rutgers, New Jersey Agriculture Experiment Station in Mays Landing, blueberries are still getting the cool weather needed each year, but with less risk of a killing freeze. Blueberries require about 1,200 chilling hours, a formula which takes into account hourly temperatures in a year, which allows them to stay healthy. However, warmer winters means buds can break earlier, and that still means a risk for a killing frost. In fact, Don Piper of Piper Farms in Southampton Township in Burlington County said, quote, the only difference we've seen is that we've had very late frost over what we used to have normally. We had one on May 21st in recent years. I've never seen that before. And it's true, more extreme weather has been noted in recent decades. There is strong, but not yet conclusive evidence that the jet stream, the river of air about 30,000 feet high in the sky that separates warm air to the north and cold air to the south, is getting wavier. With a more south to north moving jet stream, which can also be considered a storm track, more nor'easters may strike if positioned just right. Ocean temperatures are rising too, providing more energy into coastal storms. That can translate into even more snow in an individual storm when it's still cold enough. And that's according to Sean Sublett, a meteorologist at Climate Central, based in Princeton, New Jersey. Between 1990 to 2020, Atlantic City International Airport has averaged 17.3 inches of snow. That's more than the 16.2 inches average from 1948 to 1978 in the first 30 years of record keeping. The warmer oceans have also continued the trend of more frequent coastal flooding events. In Atlantic City, sea levels have risen an inch every 6 years, according to a 2014 National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration report. Coastal flooding has occurred 6 times as much annually between 2010 to 2015 than in the 1950s and 60s. By 2040, Atlantic City will have a 12% likelihood of a flood more than 4 feet above the current high tide line, or in other words, just below the highest tide of Superstorm Sandy. 2020 had a 4% annual risk. By 2060, it shoots 53% and will reach a full 100% in 2080. Those risks are based on carbon emissions continuing at a moderate pace. Climate Central says by 2050, our winters here in southeastern New Jersey will be more like Ocean City, Maryland. And by 2100, it could be as warm as coastal Georgia. No need for snowbirds here. For the Press of Atlantic City, I'm meteorologist Joe Martucci.